So, hello everyone. Now I'll show you how to fill out this form, the IMM5710 form, which is required to file for your work permit application, postgraduate work permit application. And let's begin. So, I've already downloaded the form from my end and I've already filled out the details. I'll just show you what details I have filled in the form. So first is the UCI number, which is on top of your study permit, the 10-digit UCI number. You'll find it on the top of your study permit. You want service in English or French. Then I'm applying for one or more of the following. So when you are applying for your postgraduate work permit, you will be applying it for the first time. So you'll select this tick box, apply for your work permit for the first time with a new employer. Okay, your last name, as in your surname, your family name, and your given name. Have you ever used any other names? So if you have, then tick yes, and if not, then no. Your gender, date of birth, place of birth, country, citizenship. Current country. So currently you are residing in Canada, so it will be Canada, and status would be student. Now here you'll put on the date which on which you got your study permit. So when you landed in Canada, you might have received a study permit and a work permit on the same day. So the date of entry or the study permit, the very first study permit has the period of starting date. So you will be putting that date over here and the expiry date. The expiry date for a few people will change since most of the students have 2 year diploma program, but many of the students might have 1 year plus 1 year. So when they go for the second year, they apply for an extended study permit application. So when they have the extended study permit application, the expiry date on the study permit changes. So whatever is the final expiry date, whether it's a new one or if it's the existing one on which you are doing the 2 year work, 2 years of program, you will be putting that over here. Okay. Then previous countries or territories of residence. So if you have lived in a country in the past 5 years, other than your citizenship of your current country, then you have to select yes, and for more than 6 months, of course, and if not, then no. Your current marital status, again, that is subjective, so single. And have you previously been married? No. Native language changes with everybody, so it's again subjective. So mine is Hindi. And are you able to communicate in English? Oh, yes. Have you taken a test from a designated testing agency to assess your proficiency in English or French? So that again will be yes, since we all gave our IELTS. Then your passport number, whatever your passport number is, issue, the country or territory of issue. This can be changed for the people who might have applied for their passport, for their new passport over here in Canada. So this changes accordingly. So if you are from India and you have the passport which is given from the Indian authority, then it's India. And if you have renewed your passport over here, then you can put in Canada the date of issue and the expiry date. So whatever the date of issue is and the expiry date. So if you have renewed your passport in Canada, the date of issue again changes over here and the expiry date again changes over here. Okay. Then for this trip, we don't need this. Then again, are you a lawful permanent resident of United States? So no. Do you have any national identity documents? Like no. because it's not needed. Your current mailing address, the house unit or apartment number, the street name, then city, Canada, postal code, your phone number, cellular, the date and place of your original entry to Canada, the date on which you landed in Canada, and the place you can put in Toronto or else Pearson Airport, Toronto, any which you want. Then the original purpose of coming to Canada was study. Then what type of work permit are you applying for, which will be post graduation work permit. Then name of the employer. So many of the students get confused over here, since most of them work part-time over here and under some or the other firms or companies. But since this employer here is said to be the one who will be issuing you the sponsorship of your visa, so that's why we do not put it over here, since all of us are working part-time. So if you have a knock B or knock O level job on in which you will be working for the tenure of as you can say for 3 years or 2 years, if you will be working, then you have to put the employer, name of the employer, the address. But if you don't have any, and if you're working part time at some or the other shop or store or banks or any other places, then you can just put it to be determined. So it doesn't matter. So name of the employer to be determined, complete address to be determined. So year duration of expected employment. So many of the students have completed a 2 year program or 1 plus 1 year program. So they'll be putting in the date on which they are filing and calculate 3 years from that date. So since I filed for my postgraduate work permit today on 2nd of May 2023, I completed 2 years of program, then I'll be adding 3 years to it, which is 2026 May 1st. Okay. Then have you been issued a certificate under provincial nominee program? So no. Then the last one is education and employment. So here you put the current college from which you completed your graduation program, and if it was 1 plus 1, you can add the previous college over here. So the date from which you started till the graduation date, and if you completed your first course from Seneca and your second course from Centennial, then you can put in the Centennial College first and then Seneca College. And if you were working part time somewhere or other, then you can also put the details over here. Okay. Then within past 2 years, have you or your family members have ever had tuberculosis of lungs or been in close contact with a person? So no. Then mental disorder, no. Have you ever remained beyond the validity of your status, attended school without authorization, or worked without authorization in Canada? So no. Have you ever been refused a visa or permit, denied entry, or ordered to leave Canada or any other country or territory? So many of the students also might have received a refusal on their study permit when they were back in their home country. So they have to select yes over here and they have to mention what were the details. Okay. And have you previously applied to enter to remain in Canada? So yes. Now the details for these two questions have to be mentioned over here. So we'll put 2B, and the reason for the question B, my answer was my study permit or application was refused in April 2021, And for C would be I applied for my study permit in whatever month you applied again, and it was approved. Okay. Have you ever committed, been arrested, or been charged with or convicted of any criminal offense in any country or territory? So, no. And just take whatever is applicable to you. So, no, most of the guys might have not. So, no. Signature, date, and you have to validate. So here you'll be having a button for validating your form. So whenever you validate your form, the form will generate a barcode like this. Okay. So your form is then completed. Then you can just submit it, upload it on the site over here, and yep, then all the documents are uploaded. Okay.